Lightfoot will be joining us shortly, and we will be saying farewell to Lydia as well for the final race, the 350. James Best rides the 10, all 16 runners, and 8 hurdles to be jumped. So betting for the last Wincanton, My Way 6-4. Winston C did open up at 11-8, but a big drifter now 2-1, and All Right Jack has been back 7-2, and a big jump to the rest of them 11-1. And bigger the rest, we can return to Wincanton and rejoin Lydia Hislop.
Lulagarian, who runs in our final race here, is trained by Philip Hobbs, and the horse showed plenty of promise last time, but also he was a bit zestful, wasn't he? So he put a hood on?
Yeah. that sums it up very well. Yeah, zestful. Yeah, very keen. Yeah, and he definitely has good ability. And the more he settles, the better. We think at home that the hood helps. We've changed his bitting as well, so hopefully the two things together will help. But Richard certainly won't be too handy early. He'll be settling in and go from there.
And this ground, which is sort of quite dead and tacky, will he be all right on it?
Oh, I'm sure he'll manage it. He'll be fine. He probably is a good ground horse, but you know, yes, it's tacky, but it's amazing for this time of year, to be honest.
It is, isn't it? It's quite remarkable.
Yeah.
When you think about last year as well.
Well, this day last year it was heavy. Yeah.
And in terms of his schooling at home, the moment you started schooling him, did you think, oh, he is going to do a lot better over hurdles?
He has always jumped well at home. That's not a problem, and when he's schooling at home he's not too keen. Right. So hopefully on a racecourse he get two things together, you know, pulling hard and settling, so hopefully he'll jump as well then.
Well, hopefully he puts it all together. Best of luck.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks so much. Thank you.
Pleasure. This is a really interesting race to end proceedings here at Wincanton. My Way's the favourite at 6-4, and Paul Nicholls was making a comparison earlier with Dynamite Dollars in terms of ability, but for future reference over fences. This horse is running over hurdles. He thinks he needs some time to mature. He has run over fences already in France for his previous trainer, Francois Nicole, and he was 6 behind Alpha Mix at Sandown in a Grade 2 for his UK debut, so started off quite high. But Paul Nicholls clearly regards him highly as a future chaser, embryonic chaser, and just wants to get more experience into him today. Clearly rather likes him. The tongue tie that he wore for the first time last time is off here. He had a wind operation prior to that at Sandown. Winston C stayed really well on the flat, had a mark of 87, said 14 furlongs, and put up quite an encouraging debut performance over hurdles, when third behind Brewing Up a Storm at Huntingdon, keeping on steadily. More of a stamina test than there or here will probably ultimately suit. All Right Jack is interesting. This is his hurdles debut. He won a bumper at Falkwell at the third attempt, but it was a good standard of performance in 3 bumpers, and there's plenty of hurdles in his pedigree. It's interesting that he's so strong in the market at 3-1 third in for Jamie Snowden. You just heard about Lulagarian from Philip Hobbs. I don't really have anything to add to that. And it's 20-1 and upwards the rest. Colditz Castle showed some promise until unseating on his hurdling debut last time. Zamperini, I can't really see him taking to this kind of discipline. He's a bit quirky, and he needs spice. But the flag is up for our final race, an interesting maiden hurdle. Let's join in for the final time.
They walk forward to the tape, then they'll jump 8 this time. They're off. A getaway, although Golden Footsteps is very slow to go and is only just, is it going to start? Just it is now. It hampered quite a few of the others as well as they race down to the first. My Way is already clear though to Rowley Park in the grey and red jacket. He'll take it in second place. All Right Jack and Winston C were over it in third and fourth positions, as just jumping it now is Golden Footsteps, although she's many lengths behind the leaders. Zamperini is in fifth place, and then comes a Ruby Taylor in company with the nose-banded Maracino. Behind those Red Emperor, Los Cerritos off towards the right as they come to number 2. Mabella's behind those, and then Le Legirien, it's a grey and green jacket, and behind those was Grand Inquisitor, and then Polar Light further back to him, and a pair of the red sleeves as the leaders already leave the home straight, and just going past the winning post now is Golden Footsteps. Bit of a run to number 3 and settling in front. Now they bunch up in behind the favourite My Way and Bryony Frost, who lead them onto the back straight. Dark Jacket, All Right Jack, Gavin Sheehan is in second. Then Rowley Park. Now James Davis, the grey and red jacket rider change there. Followed through by Ruby Taylor, Zamperini, and then Winston C in the blue and yellow from Colditz Castle and Le Ligérien. Behind Le Ligérien is Red Emperor, then Maracino, followed by Mabel, and behind that Grand Inquisitor and Polar Light, Los Cerritos, Him and a Prayer, as the leader jumps over number 3. And the back marker, Golden Footsteps, just gets to it now. Quick run down to 4, the white face of My Way. Over that one in front, Le Ligérien in the grey and green, extreme right, was a little awkward, but is making progress towards the leaders. Rowley Park is still there in second position. Ruby Taylor's there as well. Winston C is towards the left in the blue and yellow colours. All Right Jack is one from the right in dark colours as they get over that. Him and a Prayers started to pass a few Grand Inquisitors in company with this, and then Colditz Castle. Marbella comes next, and then Red Emperor and Polar Light as the leaders get over the next one over the far side. The back marker, Moracino. Los Cerritos is way behind as well. Golden Footsteps continues, but has always been out of contention right from the start. But they're heading towards the end of the back straight. 2 to jump when they get to home. My Way still leading, although Rowley Park is very close to it. Le Ligérien has moved to be a length off their tails and showing him third. Winston C is next. Zamperini is in company with that grey with the orange cap. And then comes Colditz Castle. All Right Jack is being ridden along on the outside of that, a length and a half behind these two Grand Inquisitor as they come to the home turn. And these are a little way ahead now of Him and a Prayer, Marbella, Red Emperor in company with Los Cerritos and Polar Light, and then Ruby Taylor, and even further back to Maracino and Golden Footsteps. 2 to jump. My Way struggling a little bit there, with Rowley Park in the grey and red almost taking it up. Winston C, Le Ligérien behind those. Grand Inquisitors coming there, and on the extreme left as well is Colditz Castle as My Way's dropped completely out of the front 6. And it's Winston C who goes on. Winston C, the Grand Inquisitor on the right, Colditz Castle on the left. In behind those, Le Ligériens 4 lengths behind in fourth place. At the last, Winston C was just the leader, but nearest to us, Grand Inquisitor is going to make him fight. Behind those is Colditz Castle. Winston C, though, has the answers, goes to victory. Second place is Grand Inquisitor, just to Colditz Castle. They're clear from Le Ligérien, who'll just be fourth.
Well, Winston C is built on that encouraging debut at Huntingdon and has won on his second start for Noel Feely and Harry Fry, beating Grand Inquisitor. This was much better than his previous hurdling starts on that horse. I suppose he did start off fairly well in his debut behind Dentley de May, but then he regressed second start. He hasn't been seen over the obstacles for a while, but he ran well here for Will Kennedy and Ian Williams. And back in third is Colditz Castle, who had shown promise on his debut until unseating and was patiently ridden here by Wayne Hutchinson and has shown more promise for Alan King. Showing up for a long way, always being prominent is Rowley Park with a red cap on the inside. Looks as though he's going to get involved in the finish at one point. And on the right-hand side, Le Ligérien, as Philip Holmes was saying, has been ridden patiently. Jumped out to his left a few times. Don't know whether he particularly enjoyed this track. And the big disappointment, of course, was My Way, who stopped really very quickly in the straight, having been gifted something of an easy lead at the start, where Golden Footsteps pretty much refused to race. Here is that start. Golden Footsteps in the black colours you'll see on the left-hand side for a while. And you see that Bryony Frost manages to nick a few lengths up front on My Way. And meanwhile, Golden Footsteps pretty much refuses to race. But My Way doesn't manage to consolidate on those free lengths. It does help probably Rowley Park put up a seemingly much improved performance, but you'll see that Winston C has never been that far off the pace. He's been tracking it in third and fourth throughout. Zamperini has showed up for a while, again relatively well positioned. He has that high head carriage that he always used to show on the flat as well, and he stayed up to about 10 furlongs. Orange colours, so this ground, this sapping ground, might be just testing him. It must be the kind of track that he'll show form on if he is able to transfer his ability out to hurdles. That's My Way exiting very quickly in the two-tone pink colours on the left-hand side, a bit disappointing. All Right Jack was outpaced and in trouble on the home turn. You can see him on the right-hand side of the picture rather, and there is Le Ligérien just jumping out to his left, as I mentioned. But Winston C is very much going the right way. He was still improving on the flat up to 14 furlongs. Now he's with Harry Fry, really good debut last time, and he's probably managed to win here, probably helped by the ground, it being tacky and testing to some degree, given the ground is as it is this time of the year, good to soft in places. But you would think that he might do better again for a more testing track. It's quite encouraging, I think, from Winston C. Definite promise from Grand Inquisitor. Ian Williams switching him back to hurdles, and that's a much better performance. And Colditz Castle is gradually building, and he can find a race soon, you would think.
Yeah, we've wrapped up proceedings now. Good evening, everybody. Wrapped up proceedings for the afternoon. We're just waiting on the SPs, as you see, My Way with the white face eventually succumbing to the winner, Winston C, a dual flat winner in the past, and is now off the mark over hurdles, getting the last race victory for Harry Fry, who saw opening batsman, the 13-year-old, run with real credit a bit earlier on in the 3:15. We're in now for the 8-race studio show from Kempton Park, which kicks off actually in just over 15 minutes' time. We run through until 7:45, and hopefully we've just about got the SPs through for the last at Wincanton. And just like that, there they are. Winston C 2-1, Noel Feely, Harry Fry. Grand Inquisitor 33-1 is second, and Colditz Castle was third at 20-1. All 16 ran in the last at Wincanton.